Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Free, founder of the 40 Song, and I'm bringing you Juvenile Redemption Stories. We have a great story today. A guy who I was talking to recently, he's been incarcerated since he was a juvenile. He is now in his 40s, and I wanted to highlight his story. So I hope you got a little bit of time to sit back and relax and be a part of this reform journey. And the reason that I'm doing these juvenile redemption stories is because so many men and women who have been incarcerated since they were juveniles continually go up before the parole board and they're not being given parole. In spite of good behavior, having a job, staying out of trouble, they're still here because of the problems of their youth. So enjoy the story. You can comment, you can support. We'll have a lot of information for you at the end. And this is going to be good. Thank you. Hey everybody, welcome back to 40 Minutes with 40. This is Juvenile Redemption Stories. I've been talking about this for about a week now, and the time is now. I have JD here with me. He was a juvenile when he was arrested. He's been in quite some time now. I'm going to let him kind of introduce himself, but we are here to support him, and I'm so thankful to have a reformed community that continually steps for the 40 Strong. I'm so thankful for everyone, for your letters to the governor. You know, whenever we put out a call for action, y'all are always there, and this is something I feel very strongly about, because when I first heard JD talking about his story, it hit me. You know, I was walking to breakfast, I believe, one morning, and I heard him talk about how long he had been in. He was 15, and I knew I had to do something. So I'll let him introduce himself and kind of tell you how long he's been incarcerated, and kind of, you know, just a little bit about himself. Go ahead, Reggie.
My name is Travis Law. Everybody calls me Baby. I got incarcerated when I was 15 years old. I met a 49-year-old woman who I engaged in a sexual relationship with and was persuaded to kill her, father to her children.
Wow.
And since I was given a life sentence when I was 15, I've now done 29 years in prison.
Wow.
For this crime. And I come from a poor family. I'm from Louisiana County. I come from a poor family. I don't have a lot of help. So anything that I can get through this and to show people that I'm not the 15-year-old kid I was as a man, especially at 44 years old now. And okay, I met Crystal Harris, which is the woman that I was messing with at the time. And me and her, we started dating, going back and forth and everything. I didn't know her youngest two son's father at the time. I only met the man twice in my life.
Okay.
That was 3 days before my crime was committed. He pulled a gun on me at the McDonald's parking lot.
Okay.
And 3 days later, or 2 days later, Crystal came and was crying that he had got custody of their kids and asked me to help get rid of them.
Okay.
The next day is when she brought him to a location and set him up where we committed the crime.
Okay.
I've never denied anything that I've done. I've always taken responsibility for my actions. I've always said my biggest regret in life is taking them in from the children.
Okay.
So now I'm at a point in my life where 29 years and I feel like what else do I have to do to prove that I'm not that same kid.
Exactly. Now let me butt in a little bit. I like where you're going with this. Let's kind of talk about the 15-year-old versus 29-year-old adult woman dynamic, because I think a lot of times people gloss over that and they just look at, oh, he's 15. No, that's an issue, because you have a 15-year-old who's not fully developed, and you're dealing with a 29-year-old woman, and I feel that influence that she had over you had to play a part in that. So if you can take us back to kind of your thinking, like how she kind of enticed you, or you don't have to get verbatim conversation, but why did you feel at 15 that you had to commit this crime for this 29-year-old woman? Like, what was there influence? Were there things that she's saying, like, you know, we can be together, or what did that look like at that age?
All the above, like I thought that I was in love with this woman at the time, not knowing what love was at the time, being 15 and all.
Okay.
I really felt like I was in love with her. We had spent time together. We had lived together at one point.
Okay.
So then when we split up and I moved back with my grandma, she would come around even though she went back to her husband and everything else, which was the father of her two oldest children.
Okay.
The victim in her case, she was...
Can I ask a question? One thing, was she ever charged with anything, or was it... Okay.
She's at Juvenile right now.
Okay. Okay, I got you. Come on, you pick back up. I just wanted the audience to know. Okay, go ahead.
She was charged with the same crime I was, as well as her best friend at the time, as her other co-defendant.
Okay.
She pled guilty to a lesser charge, second-degree murder, and got a year of good behavior.
Okay, I got you.
Both got life sentence.
I got you. Now, let me ask you this. Okay, crime aside, you were 15, you made a horrible mistake. Okay, let's leave that there. We can't go back 30 years and fix that. Okay, now, I want you to explain to the audience and myself, what does it look like going into an adult jail? I'm sure you were arrested as an adult, charged as an adult. As a 15-year-old, what does that look like? Understanding, like, did you understand the grave reality that you were in? Did you wake up one day like, wow, why am I here? Like, what does that look like? 15 and now I'm in an adult jail, not knowing the consequences that I'm facing because I'm 15. Let me chime in. Red Onion, if no one knows, is the most maximum security prison in the state of Virginia, and I can't imagine a 16-year-old being there. But go ahead.
I got the Red Onion January 3rd, 1999. I was 15 years old.
Okay.
With a life sentence. My third day at Red Onion, I watched a man get beat with a Kobe University guy.
Wow.
And that was the day my mind changed, like, this is really my life. Like, that's the day that really set in what I did and how I had to change my way of thinking, how I had to change my way of living, all of that. Like, a lot of people don't understand that when you're 16 and you go to somewhere like Red Onion, Wallens Ridge, them places, it changes you mentally. You have to grow up.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Like, the things you did as a kid and the things you thought you knew, all of that changes.
Right.
And I did 2 years at Red Onion.
Okay.
Before I went to King Mountain and did aid and all of that. But like, the 2 years I did at Red Onion helped me grow a lot eventually.
Okay.
And as I've gotten older in prison, now I try to help the younger generation. Like,
you do.
Guys coming in, and I'll try to talk to them and tell them, like, hey, things you're doing is right or wrong. Like, I'm considered an old head now.
Yes.
Even though I'm only 44.
Yes, you are. And you've been in prison almost 30 years. So by prison standards, you are an old head, which is not a bad thing because once we reach a certain age, there is a credibility there with the younger guys, so go ahead and finish up.
Yeah, but now my whole thing is, like, I was trying to work with the campaign for the fair for the youth.
Okay.
To help other people that's coming in my situation.
Okay.
And trying to explain to them the different avenues they have for different things. Like, I preach education.
I got you.
Education is one of the biggest keys. Like, I've gotten my GED since I've been in.
Okay.
I've taken all the classes they let me take.
Okay.
I just started AutoCAD. Like, even though I'm older now, I'm still trying to
educate. Education is nonstop. I agree.
Young youth coming in with 5, 6, 7 year sentences, like, hey, educate yourself. Use this time to educate yourself. Anybody can do wrong, but it takes a man to do right.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to educate people.
Yes.
You have to grow up.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Like, the things you did as a kid and the things you thought you knew, all of that changes.
Right.
And I did 2 years at Red Onion.
Okay.
Before I went to King Mountain and did aid and all of that. But like, the 2 years I did at Red Onion helped me grow a lot eventually.
Okay.
And as I've gotten older in prison, now I try to help the younger generation. Like,
you do.
Guys coming in, and I'll try to talk to them and tell them, like, hey, things you're doing is right or wrong. Like, I'm considered an old head now.
Yes.
Even though I'm only 44.
Yes, you are. And you've been in prison almost 30 years. So by prison standards, you are an old head, which is not a bad thing because once we reach a certain age, there is a credibility there with the younger guys, so go ahead and finish up.
Yeah, and now my whole thing is like I was trying to work with the campaign for the fair for the youth.
Okay.
To help other people that's coming in my situation.
Okay.
And trying to explain to them the different avenues they have for different things. Like I preach education.
I got you.
Education is one of the biggest keys. Like I've got my GED since I've been in.
Okay.
I've taken all the classes they let me take.
Okay.
I just started AutoCAD. Like even though I'm older now, I'm still trying to educate myself.
Education is nonstop. I agree.
Young youth coming in with 5, 6, 7 year sentences like, hey, educate yourself. Use this time to educate yourself. Anybody can do wrong, but it takes a man to do right.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to educate people to do now.
I agree with that. Okay, so let's go back a little bit when you said fair sentencing for youth. Can you kind of explain to everyone what does the fair sentencing, what services do they offer, and how did you get connected with the fair sentencing for youth? Because I've been hearing about that. I believe they may be on our 40 strong contact list. Is it in D.C.? Okay, we got it. So I've heard about them, but kind of explain what they do and what is your goal from working with them.
Yeah. My goal was working with the persons that the youth is to try to talk to the youth and help youth that maybe getting in trouble and try to find other outlets for them.
Right.
The persons that the youth they work with keep the youth on the street as well as youth incarcerated to try and help. They've gotten over 1,100 sentenced life juveniles out of prison.
Wow, that's big.
So, like, they helped the Miller in the Alabama case, the Montgomery in Louisiana case.
Wow.
Two of the state cases that they're campaigning for the fair sentencing youth help. They're working with me. They're working with Leroy Malvo to get.
Wow, I got you.
Their whole mission is to try to get juveniles that were sentenced to life sentences without parole out of prison.
I got you.
And now that they're Virginia, if you get a life sentence as a juvenile in Virginia, you go up for parole after 20 years.
I got you.
They're trying to show that the male human brain is not fully developed, and they're trying to help to get them after you do so much time.
Yes.
Parole, help them get established in society, avoid AIDS and stuff like that.
I got you. So now let me go back to that, because I don't want this opportunity to get past us when we're dealing with a 15-year-old brain. So scientific reports have found, verifiably, that the adult brain does not fully mature until 25. Okay, now let's take 25, everyone who's listening, and let's take 10 years off of that. So if the adult brain, male and female brain, does not fully develop until you're 25 years old, if you take 10 years from that and make it 15, you could imagine your thinking, your rationalizing, understanding the consequences at the time. And I want people to really understand how important it is that juvenile offenders be looked at more closely. When we're talking about parole and things like that, you're talking about a 15-year-old kid who is in a relation with a 29-year-old woman. And I think that I don't want that to just go quietly. I really want people to think about that. Where were you? How were you at 15? If you're listening to this now, you're sitting on the sofa, you're riding in the car, how were you at 15? What was your decision making? Did you make a mistake? Did you make bad choices? So I just want to kind of say that. Okay, moving forward. Now that the situation happened, we want to put that in the past. I'm sorry that happened. We also want to give our respect to the victim's family. We don't condone any type of crime. We are remorseful for the things that we do. Now that you've done that, you took an accountability from day one. You've been on this prison journey for 29 years. You've educated yourself. You got a GED. You've been working with other advocates to help this plight against you. What do you see moving forward? Okay, if you were released this year, next year, you make parole, where do you see yourself in this landscape? Would you like to continue to help youth? Would you like to still be a voice? Kind of tell us what that looks like.
Like, my thing is, like, okay, I have working with campaign sessions for youth. I have an at-youth program myself that I'm trying to start down the week.
What is the name of that? Can't let that go. You got a name yet? TSGU. Listen for that, y'all. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I'm trying to go ahead and with TSGU, what I'm doing is by telling my story to other youth and making things in the communities for them to do other than the normal things that get you in trouble and things like that, basketball, football, different sports, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Start telling my story and what I went through, being locked up at 15 and things like that. Because I feel like if I can save one juvenile or a million from going through the things I've been through, it makes my journey work.
I got you.
That's one of the big things that I'm working on now.
I got you. Now, let me touch now on the parole situation. We all know that the last parole board was not exactly open to second chances, if I could say. We do know that was pretty much at the directive of Governor Youngkin. With Governor Sandberger in now, you got a new board. I see that two of the members on the board are juvenile advocates, reformers. You have a pastor, you have a bishop, and you have one woman who's the chair who has some type of connections to victims. So I think that's a balanced board. With the new board coming in this year, I did hear that 9 people made it last month. That's beautiful. I am hearing that there are a lot of more things coming down the pipe for juveniles and things like that. What are you hoping that this new parole board would do as far as hearing you out, juveniles being heard, your situation being looked at more closely, no more serious nature of the crime? The crime can't change only the person. What are you hoping that this new parole board will bring for guys like yourself?
The new parole board will actually bring chances for a second chance to juveniles and people that's in my situation. Because like with the last parole board, it kind of gives you a hopeless feeling after so many years and so many turn downs when you're doing everything that's being asked of you and you still keep getting the same reason for being turned down. And I'm hoping the new parole board will actually look at the case by case basis, rather than putting all of us into one bundle.
Exactly.
And going off of, okay, well, the severity of the crime, maybe serve more time in the penitentiary, things of that nature. Instead of looking at this man was a juvenile and now he's a grown man who has his own thoughts and his own will and wants to do his own thing.
Right.
But with the old parole board, they didn't do that.
Okay.
The parole board will actually look at that standard and be like, okay, well, this man is now a grown man who has a whole different mindset than he did when he came to it.
Okay. So let's fast forward, because I'm believing, like I told you, you're going to make parole. I'm believing that what I see here is needed in society, because every time I see you, you're always positive. You're talking about your sister, your family, things that you want to do in the community. So what does your freedom look like? I know you said you had a sister that's supportive. Where are you living? Like, what are you like as far as your job? And I know you're excited. And what does that look like, your first 30 days free? What does that look like? Okay.
My cousin, he's got a school bus.
Okay.
He runs a touring company.
Okay.
I'll be working for him.
Okay.
So my home plan and my job will be in the same place.
Okay.
And my first 30 days home is just reconnecting with my family.
I agree with that.
Time with my mother, because like my mother, my sister, my nieces and nephews, I had 2 nieces and nephews I've never met in person.
I got you.
And it's just spending time with my family. That's my biggest goal.
Okay.
Once I'm established and readjusted to society, my next goal is to start my head youth program.
I got you.
So, like, I have business, I have a job, I have a personal sponsoring to handle.
Okay.
Like, the same church that my family is members of in Hanover County.
Okay.
He's coming to see me at the end of the month. The church is sponsoring me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Help me to
Okay, that sounds great, man. Support from the church, your family. You got a beautiful family, job waiting. You got your program you're about to start. That's wonderful. Now, let me say this to a lot of people that's listening. One thing that JD said that I really like is when he first gets home, he wants to reacclimate himself to his family and his freedom. And I think a lot of times when people go out, after doing this type of time, 20, 25, 30 years, to run out and try to jump back in with old friends and try to rush and do this and rush and do that, it could stagnate you or slow you down or cause problems. So I believe your idea of let me get home and be with my family. These are the people that you know. These are the people that love you. So they're going to have your best interest. So I really congratulate you for having that mentality instead of let me go out and find a girlfriend, let me go out and get with my friends. Being with your family in the church and these type of stable connections will be critical for your reentry success. And I 100% believe that this man standing before me will be successful at his reentry. So I just wanted to say that. Now let's pick up here because we're going to close out in a little bit. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if I was at the parole board, this is like a mock interview. This is everybody right here. This is your parole here. Let's just imagine. I come in, I got my briefcase. This is a 15-year-old who's been in 29 years. I got all your paperwork in front of me, and I've seen for the last so many years they keep turning you down for whatever the reason is, insurance makes the crime, whatever. This is a new board. If you had to say something in 1 minute or 2 minutes about who you are, the journey you've had, the mistake you made as a youth, if you were talking to me as a parole board member, to put it in a short summary, I know this is not a full meeting, I know you have more time, what would you say to me if you had that 1 or 2 minutes about where you are today and what you want to be for the rest of your life?
First thing I would say is I'm sorry for the crime I committed.
Definitely.
That's something that I do regret and always regretted. And secondly, I would ask for the opportunity to become a member of society, an upstanding member of society, with taking care of my family, taking care of the ones that have been here for life. You don't realize that when you commit a crime that not only do you do the crime, I have my mom, my best friend, my sister, all of them have been with me 29 years in here. And they doing this time with me just in a different way. And I would love to just repay them some of the debt that I owe them for never giving up on me, never giving up hope. And that's why I want to go out there and spend as much time as I can with my mother, as much time as I can with my niece, and nephews, my sister, my family, because they're the ones who truly matter at the end of the day.
No problem. That was beautiful, man. So we're going to wrap this up, but like I always do, everyone knows is we reach out to the youth. The goal for 40 Strong is ending the school-to-prison pipeline. You know, we've had many events in communities. We've mentored youth. You know, I've mentored many young men in prison myself. If you could talk to a youth now, if there's a mother or father who you can send a message to that they can play later to their young son, their young daughter, if there's someone listening now that's a teen, and you wanted to kind of derail them from making the mistakes that you and others have made as youth, what would you tell someone 15, 16 years old who may not have it all together right now? What would be the words for them?
The main thing I would tell them is every action has a reaction and a consequence to it. Take a second step and think about what you're about to do before you do it, because everybody can act on impulse. And as a teenager, that's your first instinct, is to act on impulse. You're easily persuaded to do things that you might not do if you actually take a second to think about it. And you think about the consequences that come with it. And at 15, 16 years old, 17, you don't really think about these consequences of your actions. So before you go and do something that you feel is you're being persuaded to do or you're being enticed to do, take a step back, go talk to somebody that's a little bit older, and it could be a big brother, it could be a parent, an aunt, an uncle, somebody that you're comfortable with. Go talk to them and explain the situation that you're under, and they'll give you better advice than you'll make it yourself as a juvenile.
That's beautiful. I really, this has been a wonderful interview, man, and I'm just going to say to everyone that's listening, this is a real human being. You know, this man, being around him, watching him, how he goes around the pod, he's humble, he's focused, you know, and I just want everyone listening to understand that people make mistakes. Now, if a regular person can make a mistake, now put that inside the mind of a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old individual who has yet to really mature and understand the consequences of these mistakes. So I'm very thankful to JD. Can you please state your real name one more time?
My name is Travis Shaw. My state number is 1168197. I'm currently at Pocahontas State Correctional Center.
There we go. So now listen. Y'all know how I am about my initiatives. This Juvenile Redemption, these stories personal to me because this is something I've been wanting to do for like a year and a half. I just haven't been lucky enough to have enough people in the pod that I could do these stories. You know, we have more stories coming up, but this story right here means a lot to me. And if you're listening, if this is a delegate, I mean, Governor Spanberger, we always send these to your office, Lieutenant Governor Hashmi, I'm asking you to seriously, the parole board, we always send these to y'all, seriously look at these cases. You're talking about a 15-year-old who is in a relation. I'll just say it one more time. I don't want to beat the drum. But you're talking about a 15-year-old who is in relations with a 29-year-old woman who, through that adult knowledge, manipulated a 15-year-old mind. He has admitted from day one he took full responsibility. He has continued his education. He is now doing work with the fair sentencing of youth. He's doing work with his family. He has the church behind him. This man needs to be in society. So anyone who's listening, if you want to contact Governor Spanberger with an email, you would like to send us an email at the40strong@gmail.com. We can forward it straight to the governor. We're constantly sending things to the governor and Lieutenant Governor Hashmi and Attorney General Jones. We will forward it to you. You can send it to us. Put Hope for JD, Mr. Travis, however you want to put it, we'll know who it's for. If you've heard his story and you support this man going home with his family to live the rest of his life after doing almost 30 years as a 15-year-old offender, support it. Speak out about it. This is what this is about. We are thankful for everyone who's listening. We are hopeful that this new parole board will step in and correct some of these wrongs. I mean, for a man to do 29 years, I'm not saying that what happened was right. The only thing I'm saying is with compassion, with God-given compassion, I just truly feel that this is a time to reevaluate how we're dealing with justice, especially when it comes to juvenile offenders. So I'm very thankful that Travis, I call him JD, has showed up for me. I told him I wanted to tell his story. I'm immensely grateful for his honesty. He didn't hide behind any excuses. He said what happened. He's taking responsibility. And I really believe that this man will be a great asset to the community. Before we close, I would be remiss if I didn't ask that you give a message to other juveniles like yourself who may be in this situation, been locked down. There's actually a man in here, been down 53 years. He was a juvenile, Mr. Sproul. Hurts me to my heart. I'm going to do his show probably next week. But for juveniles such as yourself, if there's someone listening, maybe married to one, may have a daughter, a son who's in that can play this message over the phone on the next call, if you're giving them some hope, man, what would you tell a juvenile that has been through everything, has made the change, and is still sitting in prison waiting on their chance? Give them this last word for them.
The main thing is don't lose hope. Keep your focus. Take whatever classes they allow you to take. Get whatever education you can. Education is key to everything. And with that, you got to just keep your hope, keep your family, your friends close, the ones that's been through it with you and everything, because that's your support. That's everything that you need. As long as you got support from the outside and hope, nothing's impossible. I started off with a 680-year sentence with no chance of ever getting out. Now I go up for parole. And hopefully one day they will let me go and all of that, and just keep hope. That's the main thing.
Amen. So I'm thankful, man. Give me your name one more time. There you go. That's it. Send a letter. Be involved. Even if you don't send a letter, be involved. Reach out to the parole board. Ask them what structure are they taking now? What are they doing to help these type of stories? The smallest thing could create change. So I thank everyone for listening to 40 Minutes with 40. This has been your first Juvenile Redemption Story. I'm thankful to Travis. I'm thankful to everyone who's listening. And I'm believing that you'll see Travis in society making change. I really believe that. Much love to his family, everyone who's listening. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And we'll see you soon. This is Free, founder of the 40 Strong. Goodbye.
Thank you.